Video footage has been released in Russian social media platforms, showing Russia's missile strike on a residential neighborhood in Ukraine's southern Kherson region today. The strike launched with salvo rocket, killed 2 people, and injured 22 others, including children. Local authorities reported that the strikes took place at 7:30 a.m. local time, damaging residential buildings and private houses. The regional administration published video showing a 9-story building and several houses around it with windows shattered and debris lying all around. Ukraine's Air Force reported intercepting and jamming 72 out of 128 strike and decoy drones fired at Ukraine overnight. They also said 47 drones reached their targets.
Хуярят по-страшному. Вот такое у нас утро. Ёбаные шаки. Шуменский в огне. Хуярят по-страшному. Вот такое у нас утро. Ёбаные шаки. Шуменский в огне.
Russian generals have realized that the war has reached a dead end, according to media reports. The latest analytical materials published by Frontline expert Tatarigami_UA show that the situation within the Russian army and command is rapidly deteriorating. Large-scale drone strikes in the Russian rear have not only caused direct losses but also demoralized senior officers. More and more Russian military officials are recognizing that the war has reached a strategic impasse and that it is being sustained only by Putin's personal stubbornness, according to an analytical report. According to the analyst, Ukraine's long-term campaign of drone strikes deep into Russia has produced noticeable results. This includes not only the destroyed infrastructure but also a shift in the perception of the war itself within the Russian command. Even officers now acknowledge that the cost of the war no longer corresponds to its results. Now, many Russian generals want the war to stop, but President Putin doesn't want that. That's what's causing a rift between him and the generals. According to Tatarigami, in private communications among dozens of senior officers, including those based in Moscow, the idea is increasingly being voiced. The war is at a stalemate, and its continuation is driven solely by Putin's personal ambitions. This doesn't mean the regime's imminent collapse, but it does signal a shift in sentiment even among loyal sections of society and the army. Moscow is increasing its defense production, but it relies almost entirely on Chinese technology, particularly in drones and autonomous systems. Without Chinese support, the analyst emphasizes, Russia would not be able to maintain its current level of combat operations. Despite official statements about a stable situation, the Russian army is in the throes of a disaster in casualties and discipline. According to analysis, the death toll, killed in action, KIA, missing in action, MIA, and desertion rates remain extremely high. The number of wounded, on the contrary, is declining due to poor evacuation. Many simply don't survive to reach the hospital. The Ukrainian defense is experiencing difficulties in certain areas, particularly Pokrovsk and Kupiansk, where the enemy is attempting to exploit the manpower shortage. However, the analyst emphasizes that the problem is not mobilization, but the low rate of return of troops who have left their units. The enforcement system in Ukraine is not as strict as in Russia. Russia is expected to attempt to resume offensive operations in the south in the fall, and to switch to ground assaults in the winter due to deteriorating weather conditions and the reduced effectiveness of drones. However, the quality of training of new units remains extremely low, approximately 70% complete with minimal training. According to Tatarigami_UA, Russia has found itself in a situation where war has become expensive, senseless, and demoralizing, even for those waging it. Ukrainian strikes and economic pressure are gradually undermining even the military's confidence in victory, while dependence on China is transforming Russia from an empire into a dependent vassal.